Iran has terrorized the United States and our interests for 47 years. Their core industries, not steel or agriculture, or tourism. Their core industries are state-sponsored terrorism, proxy militias, underground networks, ballistic missiles, and a violent, messianic, Islamist ideology chasing some sort of apocalyptic endgame.
So they are like the Democrats. Is that what you're trying to say? That's pretty much that's it in a nutshell. They belong in a nutshell. That was Pete Hegseth. He's the Secretary of the Department of War. Now, the Democrat Party, they're all in with Iran, which makes a lot of sense. I played the audio yesterday of the white liberal women on the sidewalk being asked by a nice conservative woman whether they feel closer to radical Islamic jihadis yelling Allahu Akbar, running at them with a scimitar, or Trump-voting MAGA Americans, and to a man, even though they're women, closer to jihadis that yell Allahu Akbar than I feel to Trump voters who say, make America great again. And the lady put it beautifully yesterday. Would you say Allahu Akbar is a better slogan for you than make America great again? And they're like, oh, hell yeah, definitely I'm much closer to Allahu Akbar. And one of them said that she feels closer to radical Islamists because she's gay. She's a lesbian. And she said that's why she feels closer to radical Islamic jihadis committing terror acts.
What is it about Trump supporters that you don't think you'd get along with them so well?
I'm gay.
But you would get along with a radical Islamist?
Yes.
And you're gay?
Yes.
Very good. They're smart, aren't they? They're the smart bunch. They must have attended UC Berkeley or something. Robert Reich might have been one of her professors. Pretty amazing stuff. They're not a bright bunch. But one of the stories we talked about yesterday was the labor leader, left-wing, radical, very, very left-wing, Cesar Chavez. Cesar Chavez, hero of the Democrat Party. And the story emerged yesterday, I told you about it, that turns out a whole bunch of women have come forward. Now, Cesar Chavez died years ago at the age of 66. He looked like he was 90 at the time that he died. Wasn't looking real good, wasn't holding up well. But Cesar Chavez, here's the headline at the New York Times today. It just popped 37 minutes ago. Cesar Chavez, a civil rights icon, is accused of abusing girls for years. Once again, underage. We're talking about underage girl abusing them for years, and the Democrats knew about it just as they did with Jeffrey Epstein, their fundraiser and buddy, and their traveling pal, and they love Jeffrey Epstein, and they love Cesar Chavez. An investigation by the New York Times found extensive evidence that the United Farm Workers co-founder groomed, but you can't say groomed. Remember, they banned the word groomed and sexually abused girls, not women, who worked in the movement. It's a movement, you know. Anna Margulia, she remembers the day that the man that she had regarded as a hero called her house and summoned her to see him. She walked along a dirt trail, entered a rundown building, passed his secretary, and stepped into his office. He locked the door, kind of like Matt Lauer. Matt Lauer did that. Remember, Matt Lauer at NBC at 30 Rock had the button under his desk, and he pushed the button, and it locked the door to his office, the outer door to his office, so nobody could get out. Nobody could get in either, but nobody could get out. That was key. Matt Lauer, award-winning journalist. They paid him $20 million a year for decades. He locked the door, he always did, when he called her, and told her how lovely she had been and how lonely he had been. He brought her into the yoga mat. He brought her onto the yoga mat that he often used in his office for meditation, kissed her and pulled her pants down. Don't tell anyone, he told her afterward. They skipped over the important parts here, but they'll be in the movie, you know. They'll get jealous, he said. The man, Cesar Chavez, was one of the most revered figures in the Latino civil rights movement. He was 45. She was 13. Ms. Margulia said that she was summoned for sexual encounters with him, by him, dozens of times over the next 4 years. Then, when she turned 17, he lost interest in her, I guess. Recently, more than 50 years later, Ms. Margulia learned that a street near her home in the central California city of Bakersfield was in the process of being renamed. City officials want to name it in honor of her sexual abuser. Cesar Chavez Boulevard. Ms. Margulia was another woman, and another woman, Deborah Rojas, say that Mr. Chavez sexually abused them for years when they were girls, young girls, from around 1972 to 1977. He was in his 40s and had become a powerful, charismatic figure who captured global attention as a champion of farm workers' rights. Sure, the two women had not shared their stories publicly before, and an investigation by the New York Times, they followed up on other people's reporting, which they failed to mention, followed by the New York Times, has uncovered extensive evidence to support their accusations and those raised by several other women, I think more than a dozen now, against Mr. Cesar Chavez, the United Farm Workers co-founder who died in 1993 at the age of 66. And 1993 is a long time ago. It's 93, and that's 03 and 13 and 20. That's more than 30 years ago. And the Democrats, they cover it up. They've been covering this up for decades. They covered up Jeffrey Epstein for decades. They covered up Bill Clinton for decades. Bimbo eruptions and depends on what the meaning of the word is, and all that good stuff. So now the New York Times uncovered extensive evidence supporting their accusations and those raised by numerous other women. The questions raised by the New York Times about Mr. Chavez, one of the most consequential figures in Mexican-American history, and a child rapist, a serial, perennial, lifelong child rapist, immediately prompted organizations with ties to him to try to distance themselves. The United Farm Workers canceled its annual celebrations honoring Mr. Chavez, a response to what the union he once led called profoundly shocking accusations. That's what they always say. Marches to honor Mr. Chavez, Cesar Chavez, were called off in Austin, Texas, in Tucson, Arizona, and elsewhere. His birthday was coming up or something. Officials in multiple states said they would consider renaming the scores of streets and schools named in his honor. None of us knew, Governor Gavin Newsom of California said on Wednesday, noting that he planned to discuss with legislators whether to rename Cesar Chavez Day on March 31st. They have Cesar Chavez Day. They've named schools after him. They've named streets after him. A U.S. Navy ship is named for Cesar Chavez, the U.S. naval ship Cesar Chavez. Just amazing. Ms. Margulia and Ms. Rojas, both of whom are now 66, the same age that Cesar Chavez was when he died. They were the daughters of longtime organizers who had marched in rallies alongside Mr. Chavez, and he said, hey, I can sexually abuse your daughters because that'll make me a Democrat. He used the privacy of his California office to frequently molest Ms. Margulia, and she said he had known her since she was 8 years old. Sure, like Mohammed and his 9-year-old bride, Aisha. How about that? Democrats and Islamists on the same track again. She became so traumatized that she attempted to end her life multiple times by the age of 15. I wanted to die, she said. And here's a picture of her as a young teenager marching with the child molester Democrat Party hero. Ms. Rojas said that when she was 12, Cesar Chavez first touched her inappropriately, groping her breasts in the same office where he had met with Ms. Margulia. And Ms. Rojas was 15. When she was 15, he arranged to have her stay at a motel during long weekends, a weeks-long march throughout California. She said that he had sexual intercourse with her, rape under state law, because she was not old enough to consent. And Murguia and Chavez said that he molested her, but and they start getting into details here. Many of the women stayed silent for decades, both out of shame and out of fear of tarnishing the image of a man who had become the face of Latino civil rights and the Latino civil rights movement. His image on school murals and his birthday, a state holiday in California. Isn't this great? So he's just, a regular Democrat, I guess. And what happened yesterday now? Here is Fox 26 News in Fresno, California. Cesar Chavez Memorial covered at Fresno State. Fresno State University, they have a larger-than-life statue on a pedestal because they put him on a pedestal. And yesterday it was covered up like a woman in Iran. Looks like any woman in Iran wrapped in black from head to toe and big black bed sheets draped over the Cesar Chavez statue. The statue of Cesar Chavez on campus at Fresno State University was covered by a black tarp and black plastic on Wednesday. The move comes after revelations of sexual misconduct by the American labor leader and civil rights activist. Fresno State president sent a campus-wide statement out on Wednesday. I am deeply saddened and disturbed by the allegations being reported about Cesar Chavez. This reporting is compounded by the painful statement made by Dolores Huerta this morning. These profoundly troubling claims about the rape of women and minors call for our full attention and moral reckoning. Yeah, that you guys aren't really up for moral reckoning, I don't think, but by removing this statue from our campus, right? The monument to Cesar Chavez in our Peace Garden was erected in 1996. They got all this funny language. It's erected, and they got the Peace Garden, and it's to honor the spirit of peaceful assembly and the broader labor movement that has shaped this region. I got to tell you, these people, they're unwell. And Saul Jimenez Sandoval, Ph.D., the president of the university. Now, earlier in the day, Fresno City Councilman Miguel Arias announced Fresno would be removing the Chavez name from the street named for him in Fresno. And so they're naming streets for him. They have statues, monuments to him, memorials to him, right? They have more than that because the U.S. naval ship, USNS Cesar Chavez, is going to have to get a name change now. It's a Lewis and Clark class dry cargo ship and first ship operated by the United States Navy to be named for Cesar Chavez. And isn't that amazing? The labor leader and civil rights activist Cesar Chavez actually joined the Navy at the age of 17 in 1944 and served for a bit of time in World War II. And good for him. That's good. But now overshadowed, I think, by the things that we've learned about him more recently. Isn't that amazing? And that reminded me of another, and it will have to be renamed. I believe that it will have to be renamed. The ship will have to have the name stripped from the ship, and they'll have to rename it for, maybe Jeffrey Epstein. They could rename it the U.S. naval ship Jeffrey Epstein, another Democrat child sex abuser and all that. But the Harvey Milk, the U.S. naval ship Harvey Milk, listen to this, in 2025, Harvey Milk was a Democrat city councilman in San Francisco who was a gay man, and they're all very excited that he was gay. But it turned out that he was sexually abusing underage street kids, boys, of course. He was sexually abusing, had been for years, sexually abusing and forcibly sodomizing underage boys who lived in cardboard boxes on the street. And he was a Democrat city councilman. And then he was shot and killed by a Democrat who was another city councilman, a Democrat city councilman, who also murdered the mayor of San Francisco, George Moscone. And he was there to murder the mayor. Then he had an afterthought. Oh, yeah, Harvey Milk's annoying, too. And so what's the guy named? Dan Johnson, I think. Killed him on the way out the door, and he was a Democrat city councilman. But he became a hero of the Democrat Party because he was shot and killed as an afterthought after the mayor was killed there. But Harvey Milk, the USNS Harvey Milk, has been renamed the Oscar V. Peterson, who was a recipient of the Medal of Honor, and Harvey Milk was not. Harvey Milk was a gay child rapist, but that's Harvey Milk. So this is going on, and more heroes of the Democrat Party. And Jeffrey Epstein was a hero of the Democrat Party for decades as well, and everybody knew what he was doing, and they covered it up, just by the way. Just like was the case with Harvey Milk and was the case with Cesar Chavez. This is what Democrats do. You know, abortion moves fast, and right now in our communities and our cities, some women are being pressured to make an irreversible decision in a moment of panic and a moment of fear. You'll never guess who's pressuring them. They're told to act quickly or risk losing support, and many of these women feel that they have no other option. But they do have options because of you and people like you. At Preborn's network of clinics, Preborn, right? A woman receives what the abortion industry would never offer, human compassion without pressure, and clarity about the human life growing inside of her, real support for a young woman to welcome her baby into the world. She's given a free ultrasound as well, and space to breathe. And more than 80% of the time when a young mother sees her baby in a preborn ultrasound, she chooses life. This month, this March, Preborn wants to help save 6,800 babies, but it's going to take 124 partners a day saying yes. So here's my request to you. Pause your busy day for a moment and take a moment to become a yes right now. Just $28 delivers one ultrasound for a young mother. $140 helps give 5 mothers ultrasounds, and every dollar helps save babies, human lives, and shares hope. To donate, all you have to do is dial pound 250, and when prompted, say the keyword baby. That's pound 250 on your phone. The keyword is baby, or go to Al Gore's amazing internet to preborn.com/plant. That's preborn.com/PLANTE. Yes, sir. Yeah, so another Democrat icon going down in flames, once again because of underage sex abuse, child molestation, which they've apparently made normal in their circles. By the way, Hollywood made a major motion picture about Harvey Milk, the street child rapist who was shot and killed by another elected Democrat in San Francisco. Harvey Milk, Sean Penn won the Oscar in 2009 for playing Harvey Milk in the movie Milk, and it was a complete whitewash of his actual history, of course, a big lie. They should all be rounded up and burned. All right, now where was I? I was somewhere. I was talking about all this. Yeah, Sean Penn won the Oscar for playing Harvey Milk in the movie Milk, and it left out the whole story of Harvey Milk, and lied about the story. Like the guy, I think his name was Daniel Young, that shot Harvey Milk. Is that right? I think that might be right. And the whole story was, he also, like it's an afterthought, shot and killed the mayor of San Francisco, George Moscone, when that was the whole point of the kill. And they never mentioned that the guy that killed them both was a Democrat, and they never mentioned the whole child sexual abuse by Harvey Milk, that they turned him into a hero, and Sean Penn played him in the movie and got the Oscar for it. Oh, I'm sorry, Daniel White, I apologize, killed them both. And he was a Democrat member of the city council. They call it the Board of Supervisors. The Board of Supervisors there. Isn't that amazing? Yes, it is. Okay. There's still a lot to get to, but I'm looking at the phones, and there are a lot of great stuff. Looking on the big board here, looking at the big board. Let's go to the big board. Let's go to the telephones. Let's go to Paul, calling from Charleston, South Carolina. Paulo, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, Chris. Love the show.
Thank you.
Real quick, my best girl and I are the ones that sent you the Self-Immolation Association Zippo a couple years ago.
I love it. I show it to people all the time. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. A great vintage classic Zippo lighter with the, because I'm always making fun of the Democrats self-immolating. And Paul and his best girl sent this great, I talked about it on the radio, right? I talked about it, certainly did. Yeah, it's wonderful. Thank you very
much. It tailed off after that. I was wondering if we could do like a promo or something to get them back on track with it. But
I keep talking about how many of them self-immolate, and I have suggested, and even recently, that there ought to be more self-immolations because of everything that's going on. But you're right. We've got to get back to that. The Democrats are slackers, aren't they, Paul?
They're just not as committed as they used to be.
Just lazy. Can't even self-immolate anymore.
So real quick, my wife and I have a VPN service, and you have to select a country, so it kind of masks where you're coming from, apparently. Oh. And apparently the ads and public service announcements vary depending on the location that you select. And randomly, a couple of weeks ago, I selected Canada. And we're listening to you. One of the public service announcements that comes across is for suicide prevention hotline from Canada.
You can see all my teeth right now. Yeah, kind of ironic. No sense of irony, huh?
And it was funny. I didn't think about this until your call screener put me on hold. Then she got back on and said, "Is it for prevention?"
Or that's hilarious. Or are they encouraging?
Then I thought, man, I should have called it, and I could imagine
I should have called the hotline.
If you're depressed and would like to live, select 2 if you're depressed and you'd like someone to come to your house and off you.
Put you to sleep like you're a kitten.
Yeah, I'll actually call it to see what their response is, and I'll get back to you. But,
that is hilarious. I love the VPN tells you to pick a country. You should pick Iran.
Tomorrow.
Every day, pick a different country.
Yeah, that's funny. And real quick, she would kill me if I didn't put a plug in for you doing the book.
She would kill me. Your best girl.
And we've actually talked about this. I will volunteer to put an outline together based on the stories you've touched upon. So I'll just put the chapters in, and then when you're sitting around after you quit the Newsbatch show, you put a couple paragraphs every night on the couch with your best girl. Anna would be so mad if I didn't mention the book.
This is great. What did you say her name is?
Anna.
Anna would be mad. All right. Well, we're
Pollyanna. From Charles.
Pollyanna. That's great. That's funny.
The beer glass is always half empty.
And always needs. That's an Irish empty. That needs a refill. Half empty.
Anyway, we love the show. Keep doing what you're doing. You're great.
Thanks, Paul, and Anna too. And Anna's right, and you're both right, and it's true. And I've told my best girl that when I am done with Newsmax, which we're counting down, I have, what do I have? My best girl told me how many days I have left today. I keep losing track. But it's like 48 work days, or not counting weekends. It's like 48 work days or something. But, and again, I have fun doing the show. I just need to stop working so much. And
we hate the show. We hate the show. We can't wait till you're focused back on the radio show.
That is great. I love that. That's great. Me too. Yeah. And that's one of the things. My focus needs to be back on the radio show. And I need to get to work on book number 1. And
and by the way, I sent a text message to all my buddies today, letting them know that my mother told me this morning that I'm the illegitimate son of Cesar Chavez.
Is that right?
Yeah, they didn't know what I was talking about.
That is your mother sent you a text. Illegitimate son of Cesar Chavez. That's not making the rounds on CNN and MS-13, and ABC News is not reporting on that.
Shocking.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and it is funny. It's great because Canada, they're euthanizing people at a record rate of speed in Canada. They seem so nice, and then they drink too much beer or something, and then they all start killing themselves. Yeah, and they got the Soylent Green thing going there, and euthanizing. They're about to hit the 100,000 mark of people that they've euthanized, and now
it seems like they've stopped funding the suicide prevention. It seems duplicative or.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Okay. I guess it saves money. They had some cost cutting. See, they're cutting costs on suicide prevention.
Annual softball game, like the suicide prevention hotline people against the euthanizer group.
That is damn funny. That's great stuff, Paul. I'll look forward to working on the book with you and Anna, and that's wonderful stuff. And I already owe you beers for the self-immolation Zippo lighter, so I'm looking forward to
politics in a pint. You get a lot of calls out of Charleston, South Carolina.
Yeah.
So politics in a pint would go over huge here.
Yeah, you think so? Okay.
Beautiful.
Well, again, that's something I need to stop doing TV to get to. Chicago wants to have WLS wants to have a politics in a pint, and I want to do it. But I can't when I'm with these two jobs and working, 15 hours a day. I just can't do it right now.
Charleston's safer than Chicago, though. Sunny.
That's very true. Yeah, I just talked about Chicago and the all the killings and that's where they have 19 shot and killed this month so far. It's only the 19th of the month. They got one a day. It's like it's like Flintstone kids, one a day. And 19 killed so far this month, and 55 more shot and wounded in Chicago. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
They're doing a heck of a job. Paul, really fun call.
Thank you.
Great
Keep
stuff.
doing what
Thank
you're
you.
doing. Love you.
Yeah, man. Thanks, buddy. Thanks. That's, see, Americans are great. Aren't Americans great? Most Americans aren't Cesar Chavez and aren't Harvey Milk. Those are Democrats. Most Americans are like Oscar V. Peterson, Medal of Honor recipient, combat hero, and they renamed the Harvey Milk ship after him. That was better work, I think. That was the way to go. I'm looking around. I'm like, my best girl, tell me, how many days do I have left on Newsmax? And I went to our text thread here, and I looked at when I came out of our building today, one of our neighbor's cars had just let loose and rolled across the parking lot and crashed into my best girl's car overnight with nobody in it. Just, hey, put the parking brake on, would you? And it rolled right into my best girl's car in the parking lot. So that's what I saw there. That's it. Crazy, man, crazy. How many days did I say I have left, Michael? Why can't I keep track of that? Because I go in and I quit every day. Every day I go into Newsmax in Washington and I resign. And I say, okay, that's it. I quit. Every time they're saying that. And they're not taking me seriously, but I'm leaving. I'm quitting. I quit. Man, oh, man. That's crazy. All right, we got a lot of audio today that I haven't gotten to also. But what with the war going on against the radical Islamic jihadi revolution in Tehran, the Democrats and Robert Reich, he's a Democrat, they're all on the side of the jihadis. No sense of irony, these people. And the wonderful portly lesbian lady yesterday, oh, I'm much closer to being with the Allahu Akbar crowd than I am with the Make America Great Again crowd. Yeah, okay. All right, kitten. Whatever you like. Pete Hegseth this morning at the 8 a.m. Eastern Time Pentagon press conference. Pete Hegseth.
We're winning decisively and on our terms. Iran is a vast country, and just like Hamas and their tunnels, they've poured any aid, any economic development, humanitarian aid into tunnels and rockets. That's what they did with Hamas. Iran has funneled decades of state resources, not to their people, but into missiles and drones and proxies and buried facilities.
And buried facilities, because they like to put their stuff. Barack Obama paid for those underground facilities, giving them billions of dollars to help them kill everyone on earth, in particular the great Satan in America. Barack Obama, their number one funder. Now, there are a number of things I do want to get to, and I never have enough time, of course, because I had somebody else having a conversation with somebody at Newsmax the other day, and they're like, you do 3 hours of live radio a day? I said, yeah. I said, you do a lot of guests? And I said, well, I never do guests. I only have 3 hours. And I said, how do you do that? And I said, it's the easiest thing in the world. Anybody can do this. Are you kidding me? Come on, with everything going on in the world and everything that's been going on in the world your entire lifetime. Come on. And the same person said, you do a lot of prep? And I said, well, I've been prepping for the show since I was 16. Since I was 16 years old, I've been collecting everything. Isn't that great? Now, and there is more Pete Hegseth, but I want to get to, and we've got we've got a lot of news going on. And Mark Wayne Mullen yesterday on Capitol Hill. That was fun. But you know what I want to get to, Michael? I think, and Michael just mentioned it too. He's making a face at me. Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris went to, this is the woman that the Democrats wanted to be president of the United States. Kamala Harris was doing it. She's on a tour. You know, her book tour has been going on for longer than her presidential tour. What is it called? 107 days or something? And the book tour has already been longer than that, and nobody cares. But it is this pretty amazing thing, because Kamala Harris had an event yesterday. And at the event, a man arrived dressed like a woman, naturally. And this man is a Kamala Harris impersonator. And I don't think he looks anything like Kamala Harris, really. But he's a black man. He's about a foot taller than Kamala Harris. And he wears a long kind of gasoline-colored wig, kind of an orange-ish gasoline dye wig. And he is towering over at Kamala Harris wearing a kind of woman's pantsuit with a scarfy thing. And I think he's got a bit of a mustache, doesn't he? He's definitely got a mustache, right? And he walks into Kamala Harris, and she's standing in front of a big banner with the name of her book on it, 107 Days that the world forgot. That should be the actual name of the time. 107 Days that the world immediately forgot. Kamala Harris's campaign for the presidency. So here is the audio of this man who showed up at the Kamala Harris event, dressed allegedly like Kamala Harris, and he curses. He said, you know, the MF, and he's got because the Dems, they're keeping it cool. They're keeping it real, you know. So here's Kamala, and she's cackling like a mentally ill person. And the big, tall guy with long lady hair wig and a lady kind of pantsuit thing. And Kamala just loves it. And he's explaining, I'm you. I'm making people love you by being me.
Let me be very clear.
She's
it's
cackling.
Nice to finally meet me.
It's nice to finally meet me. He thinks
I need you to know, right? This is all for you. This is because of the love and the light and the joy that you put in me, and I take that and I give to millions around this world to be a light in the darkness. People that love you more because of what I do, and those who don't love you learn to love you because of what I do. Yeah,
because of what I do. Oh, and she's going, she was kind of grooming his mustache with her finger there. And that's Kamala meets the cackling, mustachioed guy, Drag Kamala. And I guess he goes by Drag Kamala, right? He's Drag Kamala. And so there is Drag Kamala and actual Kamala, who's kind of draggy too. Although not as much as Big Mike, you got to say, not as much as Michelle Obama. But that's another thing. So here's cackling Kamala with the mustachioed drag queen Kamala.
Thank you. We love you. Thank you for the fight. We're sorry the patriarchy sucks. But thank you for the fight.
The patriarchy sucks. Cesar Chavez, Harvey Milk, Jeffrey Epstein, Bill Clinton, the patriarchy. We're going to take away your electricity, and then you won't be able to groom that mustache because, honestly, we invented everything. You're welcome. Just amazing. Drag Kamala, and she's cackling. Now he curses up a storm because if we had, you bleeped it, right? Because it begins with mother. And here's the Democrat Party.
You bring people so much joy, knowing clear-eyed what we're up against, but giving people a way to laugh.
Bring joy.
At themselves and each other.
Yeah.
And me.
Yeah.
Listen to them.
We have to, because to be clear, these motherfuckers are crazy.
Somebody said that recently.
I think someone did. You and me, or maybe both.
Yeah, these mamma jammas is crazy, I think he said, and I cleaned it up, but that's the Democrat Party. That's the woman. One of them was a woman, cackling Kamala. They wanted her to be president of the United States. This guy would have been like the Secretary of Crossdresser or something demented. The Democrat Party is very, very unwell. Kamala is very unwell. They ran her for president because they had Joe Biden. And the backup plan was Kamala. And the tranny thing and the genital mutilation for children, And Robert Reich is on the side of the Islamic Revolution in Tehran. He's a former cabinet secretary for a Democrat. They're very, very unwell.
We're sorry the patriarchy sucks.
Now, my best girl texted me that I have 43 days remaining at Newsmax. And that doesn't count weekends. That's just Monday through Friday days. That's just work days. 43 days I have remaining there. I'm looking forward to that ending. And also, my friend Brian, whose kids go to school in Virginia, tomorrow they have no school. Fairfax County Public Schools, there is no school because Ramadan is ending. And they're Islamizing the children while we're at war with Iran, the Islamic Republic. Isn't that amazing? Now let's go to two things I wanted to get to there. Yeah, there's no school in Fairfax County, at least tomorrow in Virginia, because Ramadan is ending, and they want the kids to join the jihad. They call this liberalism, right? All right, now let's go to, where are we going now? We're going to Bryce. That's right. We're going to Bryce, calling from Falls Church, Virginia. And Bryce, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for taking my call.
Hey.
My family's been in the equipment rental business since 1959. And in the early 70s, my father tried renting motorhomes. And one of the people that rented a motorhome from him when he was testifying before Congress in the UN up in New York was Cesar Chavez. And when he was in the Washington, he tried to drive the motorhome into a parking garage. And as you can imagine, motorhomes don't fit in parking garages. They smashed the front roof and I guess busted the glass out. They returned it to our office. My parents were out of town because they would have never let him take the other unit that we had at the time. But there was a little intimidation factor involved. When they were in the office negotiating with the staff of the other unit, one of our employees went in to survey the damage from the inside, and he described it as wall-to-wall guns.
Guns?
Wall-to-wall guns was his words.
Wow.
I asked him later. He had driven as far south as to Florida, and, of course, up to New York.
Cesar Chavez. Bad news bears.